Why the narcissist can't dim your light anymore. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So, your light, I've talked about this for years on the channel. You are a beautiful, bright, shining light. You are what the narcissist tried to capture, and they tried to extinguish, and they tried to make sure that your light was never shining again. You see, the narcissist took their best shots at you, plural, and they failed. And yes, they did fail miserably. They thought they knocked you down for the count. They thought they had extinguished you and your beautiful, bright, shining light. They never thought that you would flicker again. But what did you do? You dusted yourself off by the bootstraps. You rose through the ashes. You picked yourself up against insurmountable odds. And you went to work on yourself. You began to heal. You began to figure out what this experience was and that it had a name. Then you slowly began to learn the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle, and you began to become educated. You learned terms like gaslighting, like stonewalling, like triangulation, my least favorite thing that these creatures implement, what financial abuse is, what being dragged through the court system means, what counter-parenting means, what sleep deprivation means, what mindset and more mean. As you were learning, you were becoming stronger. As you were getting stronger, the person you're considering was getting weaker and weaker. And over time, you figured out just what you weren't supposed to figure out at the hands of that person. That in fact, you are a beautiful, bright, shining light, and even they could not take you down for the count. They could capture you, which is what they did. They could trick you, they could trap you, they could blame you, they could mock you, and they could smirk at you. But they couldn't take that knockout punch. They couldn't knock you down and out forever. Now, why I say that, and I've said it for years, is for me specifically, January 6, 2021 was a very pivotal day for me. It's a day that I owe an awful lot to the power above, to my beautiful, bright, shining light, to an individual named Mr. White, and to me believing in myself, not even counting all my upbringing, all the trials and tribulations that I experienced, and all the proper upbringing and parenting that I was raised by my parents. Now, having said all those things, I had to lean into everything I had experienced from the past, not things that I had learned, but experienced specifically. And then again, I've figured out what it was, and the rest is history. Here I am. You too will have your own challenges. I already can assure you that you've had thousands of challenges in your life. This challenge right here, figuring out what the narcissist is, why they did what they did, how they could do it, how they could slither away so effortlessly, how they couldn't give you closure, why they don't care about anybody, why they have no empathy and no love within them, and all they want to do is destroy people's lives. When you figure that out, then you realize, oh my gosh, I was in the worst relationship known to humankind. In the past, I had thought that toxicity, what it was a skull and crossbones on a barrel, an oil barrel, which has some kind of hazardous waste in it or something. Well, that would be true. Also, the narcissist needs to have that tattooed on their forehead and on anything on their back, which could mean their physical skin, or it could be their apparel, skull and crossbones, hazardous waste, stay away. But see, they're not going to do that. And if they did, they would be mocking people. Truth be told, the narcissist does know what they're doing, and they know that each and every day, Father Time is ticking. They're getting older, and they are getting sloppier and sloppier with their skill set. They also know that more and more people like myself and you, are becoming more and more awakened and aware, educated, and empowered. We're getting stronger. And more people are understanding that they too, in fact, perhaps were in a narcissistic abusive cycle unbeknownst to themselves, but perhaps way back then they just brushed it off like that person was having a bad day, week, month, year, decade, life. But now that narcissism is at the forefront, now they're probably realizing, wait, that's what that was? Oh my gosh. You see, each and every one of us not only reveal ourselves in time, I have, the narcissist has, you have, and everyone else will in your life. Eventually, they will reveal themselves. What that means is they're going to show you if they actually care about you or if they're just giving you lip service. But not only does that happen, but what we realize also is that the wisdom we've acquired, it's a superpower. Now, this is a superpower on steroids when you wrap your head around the fact that 99.9999999 ad nauseum of the people on the planet will never understand what it is. Now, you may say, wait a minute, why would you say that? That's a tough pill to swallow. When I use that number in that exact reference, I'm referring to people who have been trapped in a cycle, who have made it out, who have healed, who have put themselves back together, who understand narcissism, who understand empathy, who understand mindset, who've gone no contact and blocked that person, and now who have a small footprint, but are now living abundant, fruitful lives because they didn't allow the narcissist to dim their light one more second. That is a very small group of people. You are either in that group or you will be, as long as you continue to focus on yourself, control what you can control, and continue to get the wisdom with each and every video I create each and every day and from all the beautiful comments all over the world. That mountaintop is a real place. That pinnacle of indifference is a real place. There are so many people I worked with over the last 5 years who've, in the beginning, would shrug their shoulders or look at me like I was from Mars when I would explain to them the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference. But not only am I there, they're there. And you too can be there if you're not there yet. What that means is you now understand what you need to know. You have all the answers to the questions, or at least most of them answered. You gave yourself closure. You blocked the narcissist. You went no contact. You deleted them. You removed them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. You see, now you can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unhear what you've heard. You can't unexperience what you've experienced, because this is the relationship from hell. It's also the relationship that turned your life upside down. It derailed the trajectory of your life. And then you had to focus on yourself, which is why this is the relationship you need to heal from. Narcissist has nothing to heal from. All they do is mock, smirk, grimace, laugh, and wash, rinse, repeat, rinse, wash, repeat after they've taken everything from the target. That's why eventually each and every one of these people will get what's coming to them. They will all get their payback. They will all get their karma. They will all get what's coming to them. Now, it may not happen today. It may not happen tonight. It may happen over the weekend. Maybe it won't happen for 10 years. Maybe it will happen in the afterlife. I can't tell you, but what I can tell you is there are more people, or more powers, I should say, powers observing all of us than just human beings. I hope you read between the lines, which is why when you do the right thing and you are committed in a relationship and somebody takes advantage of that, uses you, abuses you, burns out your energy, your belief in humanity, your mindset, your purpose, almost stole your soul, takes your health, your hobbies, and everything else. When somebody does that, there's a big price to pay. And guess what? That price won't be paid by you or myself. We have to heal. That price will be paid at the hands of the narcissist. They do know the clock is ticking. I'm talking about the narcissist. And they do know that Father Time is catching up with them. They also know that they've put on a couple more pounds by now, probably, and that maybe their appearance is a little saggy, and maybe they need another Brazilian butt lift or another Botox, or maybe they have to use another 3 bottles of hair dye. I don't know what it is. I understand that people want to look their best. I get it. There's a big difference, though, and you should play this part of the video multiple times. There's a very big difference between wanting to look your best because it makes you feel better, or wanting to look your best because you are a predator, essentially a wolf in sheep's clothing, and you're trying to lure people in, trying to draw them in, try to suck the lifeblood out of them or the life force out of them and steal everything from them. That's what the narcissist does. Now, does every narcissist look good? Absolutely not. I would say probably most of them don't. I would say most of them are frumpy. They don't really take care of themselves nearly as well. They have vices. They're anxiety riddled. They have many skeletons hidden in their closet. They have the loudest voice, and they play mental mind games, and they want to trap people. I do not believe that most of the toxicity of the narcissist is on the most of these people are Adonises or are supermodels. By no means. Again, we're all human beings. Some days we look better than others. I get it. But the difference between you wanting to look your best and maybe buy a couple more times without having gray hair, and the narcissist going out and getting 10 Brazilian butt lifts and 15 tummy tucks and whatever else is going on. No disrespect to the surgeries. I get the whole thing. And I actually understand now, or I've learned recently, that some of these surgeries are going by the wayside because now there are injections and shots. Anyway, you cut it. I don't do any of those things. What I do is I try to pay it forward each and every day, and I don't let anybody try at all to extinguish my beautiful, bright, shining light. You see, the narcissist will approach you from multiple angles, multiple ethnicities. They will be tall, they will be short, they will be educated, they will be uneducated, they will look like a supermodel, and they will look like they haven't bathed in 3 weeks. But what they want to do is lure you in. All it takes is a couple simple words, a conversation. That's how it starts. Could be text, could be dating app, could be bumping into somebody. It could be the narcissist who is stalking you at your gym. They could be slowly moving their exercise equipment closer to yours, so they mysteriously or coincidentally, wink, wink, and remember, there is no such thing as a coincidence, bump into you tomorrow. Next thing you know, you two are gym partners, and here we go again. See, this is what they're doing. That's why I shared with you earlier. The narcissist is a shapeshifter, and all they want to do is steal other people's energy, other people's light, and they want to use it for themselves for a period of time which will catapult them from one leg of their life to the next leg of their life. And when I say one leg of their life to the next leg of their life, that doesn't mean necessarily 1 year, 2 years, 30 years. It could be 10 minutes. It could be a bus ride that took 20 minutes. It could be a class at university that took 45 minutes. It could be an airline flight that took 3 hours. Doesn't matter the length. What matters is that they know what they're doing. And they will not stop at anything, because that script that keeps running around in their tiny little pea brain, it keeps telling them the same old things. I matter, I'm important, I'm superior, I dominate, you must submit, I own you, things like that. Well, that's what they can say to themselves when they're talking to themselves in that robotic-like, trance-like state, mumbo-jumbo word salad of themselves when they're in the bathroom one of their 30 times with one of their 3 smartphones because all batteries died and they have to talk to themselves. Truth of the matter is, these people are sinking ships, they're ticking time bombs, and they want to ruin people's lives. They want to extinguish people's lives. I hope you read between the lines there. That's why you are a beautiful, bright, shining light. That's why you are not supply. This person you're considering, they looked at you as supply, but they also saw what you had in you. And everything you had in you, they had none of. And they wanted to capture it, harness it, and take it for themselves, and control it, and corral it, and isolate it for themselves. And they did that very well, truth be told. They did it until they couldn't do it any longer. And when they couldn't do it, it was either because you were discarded, there was a different source of supply lined up, you wised up and figured it out, or perhaps there was a health challenge or something different. Anyway, you look at it, you're out of the relationship. When you're out, you need to stay out. Once you're out, you need to go no contact, block that person. Once you're out, you need to recognize that was a close call, but not just kind of like a close call when you're driving on the freeway and somebody cuts you off. I'm talking, this is a close call of your life. Of your life. And if you want to have a fruitful, abundant rest of your life, you need to go no contact. And you need to not let toxicity get anywhere near you. You also need to understand, and I shared this with you earlier, by practicing stoicism, controlling what you can control, stay in the present moment, and understand that you are stronger than you know. By practicing those 3 mottos, and there are so many more that I can share with you, and I've done over the last 5 years, that you're powerful. You just weren't told that most of your life. And the narcissist certainly didn't tell you that. What the narcissist was doing was trying to pepper you with insecurity, try to pepper you with doubt, try to pepper you with not believing in yourself. This way you will be easier to control. And that is what happened. Once you get the wisdom and you apply the tools, you will realize that it was nothing but a huge brainwash. It was nothing but a Jim Jones Kool-Aid excursion in Guyana years ago. It was nothing but a person knowing that they could control you by pressing button A, C, and V, and by pulling lever D, X, and M, and in between there, mini love bombing you, mini euphoric stage, devaluing, and slowly breaking you down. This is what these people do. They break you down over time. Nothing, and I mean nothing, happens in 1 second. Nothing happens in a day. It happens over time. That's why this relationship you're considering, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. And that's why this relationship you're considering, it's like carbon monoxide on steroids. That's why you have to get away from these people. They will never improve. They will never change. They will never miraculously find out that they were evil and they knew what they were doing and they want to atone for it. No. All they are going to do is sell you a bill of goods, a song, and a dance, and try their best to rewrite the past, which again is why you need to go no contact. But as I shared with you earlier, when these people can no longer get close to you, they can't plant seeds in your mind. When they can't get close to you, you know nothing about them. When they can't get close to you, they know nothing about you. And the less you know about them and the less they know about you, the better off you are. The better off you are, the stronger you get. The stronger you get, the weaker they get. The weaker they get, the less they matter to you. And the more your beautiful, bright, shining light shines higher and higher than the sun, the moon, and the stars, and everything in between. You must understand before I close this video that this person knew what they were doing. They did it deliberately, and they took their best shot at you, thinking you would never make it out of whatever pickle that they put you in, whatever corner they painted you in, whatever conundrum they placed you in, and whatever mindset that they dropped you off in. They never, and I mean never, thought you would ever rise through the ashes and put yourselves back together, and rise through the ashes like a phoenix, put yourself back together. But you did. That's why this will always, for the rest of their lives, and you may think, wow, that's a little rough, it's real. This will always cause a narcissistic injury for the person you're considering, because you're the one that got away. You're the one that's shining brighter than ever. You're the one that's made something of yourself. You're the one that's taken the wisdom you've acquired, applied it to yourself, and taken off and reached the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference. You're the one that's making a difference on this planet. You're the one that's believing in yourself. You're the one that won't allow toxicity, even one syllable, to communicate with you. That's why you're different than most people, and that's why you are not one of the 99.999%. You're part of the 0.001%. The math is close, but it's probably not perfect. Any way you cut it, you need to believe in yourself the way I believe in you. And I believe in you more than you will ever know, because at one point I was where you are. And where you are, if this is where you want to be, it's a good thing. If where you are is not where you want to be, there's work to be done. Any way you look at it, you need to focus on yourself and understand that this was not an accident that you encountered that person. And it isn't an accident when you finally block them. So that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Understand a few things. 1, these people won't change. 2, they know what they're doing. 3, they did try to extinguish you. Now, I've used that word multiple times. I think that was 7 in this video, maybe 6. Either way, I'm close. When I say that, you really need to read between the lines. That's what they had done to so many people that don't have voices, that aren't here on the planet. That's what they try to do. That's why you are a beautiful, bright, shining light that I came up with in 2021. Think about all these connections. You are the beautiful, bright, shining light. What does a light do? It shines. What does the darkness do? It tries to engulf or encapsulate the light, but it can't do it forever. That's why the light always wins. And you are the light, just like myself. So play this video, play it a few times, share it with someone who could use it, and understand that you're stronger than you know, and you are the priority. You come first, second, third. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.